Hawk, why are you sitting upside down? Why aren't you? Huh? Why would I be? That's not how people sit. Why can't it be? Huh? Why can't it be how people sit? Who determines how people sit? Who sat down on their butt one day and was like, this is how we're gonna sit? No, why can't I sit on my head instead? Do you? Sure, why not? What do you mean by do you? Is that the same as saying... No, it's not. I meant do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy, I guess. If you want to sit upside down, then do it. Well, okay. But you're gonna be the outlier. Actually, Jemima, that makes you the outlier. Or at least we're equal outliers. What do you mean? Well, you're doing things like everyone else. Kyle definitely doesn't do things like everyone else. And look at me. I'm sitting on my head. So you not sitting on your head makes you the outlier. Huh. Okay, fine. I'll sit on my head. That's not comfortable. Yeah, well, sometimes being unique comes at a cost. Would you rather be comfortable and be like everyone else, or would you rather be unique and stand out in the crowd? Suffer with us. Show us that you care. You came up with those lyrics out of nowhere. Yeah, it doesn't cost you a nickel. It doesn't cost a dime. It's audio dubbing with Hawk and Jemima. Yeah. All right, it's time for the... It's time for what? Well, I was trying to say it's time for the news. What determines it being time for the news? Well, we do the news at a certain time. The clock is giving us the time. The clock. Who came up with time on a clock, Jemima? What do you mean? Well, time is a man-made thing. Time doesn't really exist when you think about it. What do you mean time doesn't exist? I mean, time doesn't exist. It's man-made. Well, it does exist because it was made. Well, yeah, but it's not real. Daylight saving time. That does it right there. That shows you. It has absolutely no meaning. It's not real. You can't fall for that stuff, Jemima. Okay. To the news. Here we go. I got news for you. News is what you want it to be. News is determined by what people determine it to be. You determine news by determining what you determine to be, determinable as determined. I kind of lost where I was going with that, but I do have a logical point behind this. News is only news if you make it news. So I'm gonna tell the news today. How about that, Jemima? Okay, sure. So this morning I woke up and a yellow feather fell out of my hair, and it landed on my pillow. That is our first news story. Well, that's not news. It's news to you. Did you know about it? No? Then it's news. That's a news story. Second story, okay? When I was walking downstairs today, I tripped and I bumped down 2 stairs. But I got back up and I was fine, and I got a bruise on my tailbone now, but it's a very minor bruise, and I will recover perfectly fine. Seems kind of self-centered just to tell news stories about yourself. Oh, well, if it's self-centered, I can tell stories about you instead. This morning, Jemima did not have breakfast ready when I asked her to, and I wasn't thrilled. Yeah, okay, here's news for you. Jemima doesn't work for you. Jemima's not going to make you breakfast just because you want it. Why not? I mean, I work hard. I work hard too. We have the same job. I'm here in studio. Yeah, but I also got to go sell the stuff by the street, whatever. Let me get a little closer to my mic. So, Jemima took a cold shower, first thing in the morning, and sang some classic jazz music, and some 80s pop, and a little bit of 2010s alternative, and I even heard like a modern song sang in there. You were listening to me in the shower? Well, yeah, you sing wonderfully. That's why I leave the radio off every morning. Simply beautiful. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Why don't you sing for us now? Okay. Stop. Oh, gosh, okay. You know what? Maybe the water makes your voice sound better, but ugh. Okay, so here is a news flash for you all. Jemima sings terribly. Hey! Well, you don't always sing terribly, but that sounded really bad. I'm afraid to know what it would have sounded like if I had not interrupted you. You see the point I'm making. Anything is news if you want it to be news. All you have to do is tell it. You know? Okay, well, I think what determines news is how it's going to impact people or how interesting it is. Okay, why don't you go ahead and tell the story you were going to tell? All right. So a storm is moving along the Pacific. Uh-huh. And how does that impact people? Well, it's a storm. Is it hitting the mainland or is it just in the ocean? Well, it's in the ocean. Yeah, are there ships in that area? I don't know. I mean, it affects people in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, well, maybe a feather coming out of my head affected me. Maybe I didn't want to lose that feather. Maybe hearing you sing affects me. Maybe when it's really beautiful, it makes me happy, and when it's really bad, it makes me sad. I mean, things affect all sorts of different people. Okay, Well, I'm talking about things that affect, like, a lot of people, like large groups of people. Okay. Well, so one person's not as important as 20 people? Huh? What determines the importance of a person? What if there's one person who finds a cure for a terrible disease, and then 20 people who spend their whole lives doing nothing? Is that one person more valuable than the other 20? To me, it seems like they would at least be more valuable in their contribution, but as individual people, I'm really not sure how you would determine that. Oh, please! You're wearing me out! Nothing you're saying's making sense. I know you're trying to be a philosopher, but just stop! Okay, fine. Tell your next news story. All right. Here's a feel-good story. There was a kid at an airport with a suitcase. He was at the airport and he'd lost his parents, and the flight attendant stopped the plane so the kid could reunite with his parents. How is that any more news than what I shared? Well, it's just a nice story. How does it affect people? It affected the people on the plane. Okay, but how does it affect the people listening to the news? Every occurrence is going to affect someone in some way. But listening to that now, what's that going to affect me an hour from now, 2 hours from now? That's no more news than what I was saying. But it's more interesting. Okay, so define interesting. What determines interesting, Jemima? Okay, let's move on from the news. I do agree it's a nice story. It just, I'm trying to prove a point here. Well, maybe don't prove a point. Maybe just, sit there and listen to what I have to say. So you're going to continue the news? No. Let's move on. The weather. We'll talk about the weather. Jemima, why do we always have to talk about the weather? The weather is not interesting. Okay, well, it affects people. Let's see. In San Francisco, there's expected to be a blizzard. I don't know why there's going to be a blizzard in the summer, but apparently, hold up. Are we broadcasting to San Francisco? I don't think so. But the people listening could have family in San Francisco. That's a major coin flip, Jemima. What are the chances? What are the chances that the people listening have family or friends in San Francisco specifically? I don't know. Just let me tell the news. You're not even talking about local weather. You're talking about weather in some faraway place. In fact, how do we know that San Francisco really exists? San Francisco, the man-made thing. Really, when you think about it, states and capitals and all that, it doesn't really exist. Everything is just space in the world. We have a world, and there's a certain amount of space in the world. It's a big terrain of water and ocean and all that stuff. And, some people have sectioned out certain spots and given them names, like San Francisco. What is the real meaning behind these names? What is the real meaning behind these lands and areas, rather than political, stuff? You were going real strong until you said political stuff. Yeah, I know. Most people do go strong until they say political stuff. Then they're not going strong anymore. Okay, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Ho ho ho! This is your sponsor! I am cooking some food for you to eat. Get yourself a bite of the food that I am cooking. Thank you. Ho 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 ho!
Yeah, you heard the man. Go get yourself a bite of the food that he's cooking. Where's that at again? Look, I just play what's sent to me. That seems kind of vague, but we're just gonna move on. Vague or egg? Huh? What is the difference between a veg and an egg? Are they the same? Are they different? Explain, please. Vague as in not clear. Egg as in egg. What is an egg exactly? Is any oval shape an egg? No. Well, then what determines an egg being an egg? Huh? I, eggs are they're eggs. I don't know. They're oval shapes with yolk, and I don't understand how that's even philosophy, Hawk. Like this table. That's a table. This microphone. That's a microphone, right? I mean, you can't really argue with that. It's just what it is. So what determines a table being a table? That seems like a question you're gonna have to figure out yourself. I already have the answers, but if I give them all away, it's not really learning, is it? Okay, we're gonna wrap up the show. Why are we wrapping up the show exactly? Because we're out of time. Oh, no. Oh, time. Don't get me started on time again. Time is not really an existence. Okay, look, listen. We gotta wrap up because we do 10 to 12-minute bits, and then we're off for now, okay? So this is the end of our 15th bit, and we're gonna wrap up. Okay, well, we could wrap up, or we could keep going. I mean, who's to say we can't go for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes? You really think people can listen for that long? If someone is listening right now at 9 minutes and 42 seconds, please let me know, because I don't think there are many people who are gonna listen to this all the way through. I definitely am not gonna listen back to this. Well, so you're saying that people won't listen to me talking for 40 minutes? Probably not, Okay, well, give me a reason why, Jemima. What makes me less interesting than other people talking? I'm not offended. I really just want to know, philosophically, how do you determine that? What is the line between an interesting speaker and a uninteresting speaker? I don't. Okay. Thank you all for listening to Audio Ducking. What determines this show being called Audio Ducking?
Guys, it's time to wrap up the show. We have music to play.
Hey, Huck, I have a question for you.
You probably shouldn't pull that one.
Okay, so, what makes it time for this show to end?
You have a certain amount of time to talk, and you have overstayed your welcome, so it's time to go.
Huh. Okay, so what determines someone overstaying their welcome? What determines it being time for the show to end?
It lasts a certain amount of time every time.
Uh-huh. Time. Certain amount of time every time. So what exactly is time but a man-made numerical system to calculate our very, basic, human needs and actions? Why do you have to wait till lunch to eat if you're hungry at 10? Why do you have to wait till dinner to eat if you're hungry at 2? And haven't we all had an early dinner or a late lunch? In fact, a dinner, lunch, breakfast, what really are those? What do they mean? Look, you're a big man. Surely you want to know.
You have me stumped. This is, quite frankly, the smartest conversation you've ever had, Hawk. I'll be thinking about this all day.
Yeah, he's busy thinking.